Hi guys, welcome back. We need to talk. Okay, so what happened? All right, I just got out of the hospital yesterday and I had been in the hospital for about 4 days. It was a whirlwind of activity. It was really weird what happened. At one point, my liver enzymes reached a critical level. So it was just really bizarre. But I'll tell you what happened. But first, I want to congratulate everybody who did the challenge with me, the 30-day challenge this month. You guys were amazing at keeping me motivated. I hope I helped you as well. And if you did something that, if you had some major accomplishments and stuff, I just really want to congratulate you for sticking through it and for sticking with it and preparing yourself for these holidays coming in. That's what we were doing, and I couldn't be more proud of you. I'm so grateful, and I just love this group so much, and I just wanted to give you a real big heartfelt thank you. And I also wanted to give a major shout out to Lori from Relentless Pursuit of Shade. I'm going to put her channel below. She's not going to, she ran on Sunday, yesterday, she ran the Marine Corps Marathon, and she was preparing for that this month. And so I checked this morning. I did not see a video up recapping that and how it went, but you can catch her last vlog. It was really neat because she kind of took you through training for this, and her last day that was in Seattle, I think it was. But anyway, I really did enjoy her vlog. So I will put her link below. Go, if you would, and congratulate her on everything she did this month. She was with us on the challenge. And I just want to give you guys a shout out and say thank you. I mean, you did some major, major stuff. I loved all the comments, and I loved going through this challenge with you. And major apologies that I feel like I bonked out at the end, but there is good reason for that. And if I wasn't in the hospital, hooked up to the IV and the heart monitor, I would have been kicking the last mile with you guys. But it came out of nowhere. All right, so I'm going to try to make it quick, so I don't want to bore you about this. But what happened was, I believe it was on Wednesday or so, I had gotten done with a workout, and I thought, it was a normal workout, wasn't any big deal. It was in the evening. I was catching up, and it was really strange because during that week I had been experiencing some certain digestive issues, but I didn't really pay any mind to it, and so after that workout, I went in to play a game with my kids. We sat down to play a game, and I was kind of hunched over, and I noticed that I had this really weird feeling come over me. Like, I felt like it was this pressure that was in my rib cage under my chest, and it kind of radiated toward the back. And in a way, it kind of reminded me of when I had a gallbladder attack, but I don't have a gallbladder anymore. And so I thought, oh, this must just be a digestive issue. And it started getting stronger, and it made me kind of scared because I did not recognize this feeling. And I thought, oh, there's like a pressure. I wonder if this is what, yeah, all of a sudden I started getting these chills, sweat running up through my back. And then I got really nauseous. And I thought, oh my goodness, am I having a heart attack? Is that what this is? And it really scared me, and I was really conscious of trying to keep myself calm because if this was maybe an anxiety attack, I didn't want it to get worse. So I was trying to calm myself, and I tried to ignore it and think, oh, well, this is going to go away. And it didn't, and it was growing. And I finally said, okay, kids, I need to talk to Dad. So I went he was in the gym, and I said, honey, something is going on. I don't recognize this pain. This is what's happening. And I tried to lay down on my chest on the floor, and I thought maybe if I put pressure on it, this will ease up. And it didn't at all. And I thought, okay, I got up and I said, you know what? He was telling me, well, we need to take you to the ER, because I'm kind of nervous about this. And I said, no, I don't need to go. I just need to lay here for a minute and it'll pass. I am very adverse to going to the emergency room. I mean, the cost, the wait, just the hassle, everything, getting exposed to other poor people's germs that are going through things. And so I really tried to avoid it. But then at one point I just said, you know what? we need to go now because I just need to make sure that this is not, I'm not having a heart attack. That's all I really care about. I can deal with anything else. So I thought. And so we went, and of course, there was all kinds of, well, they got me in pretty quick at first because when you have chest pains and things like that, they want to make sure they get you in on the EKG and check you out. And so they did move me along at first pretty quick. And the EKG actually came out as fine. So it wasn't my heart. And so, we needed to do other tests. I don't know, did we do the x-ray that night? I don't remember. But anyway, I went to go sit down since my heart day, they weren't too worried about it. I went to go sit down, and it was a little bit before I saw another couple of doctors that night, and they were concerning for, heart type related issues. And I was really misdiagnosing where the pain was coming from at that point. And after a while, it kind of subsided after a few hours of sitting out in the waiting room. And so I said, you know what? I feel like I'm going to be fine. Now, one thing that one of the doctors said was, he said, you have like crazy elevated liver levels, which is really bizarre. But it threw him for a loop because he said, well, if the pain is starting to go away, maybe you're going to be okay. So they said I can go home. So I said, fine. So I went home, and almost as soon as I got home, the pain started coming back, and I did not want to go back. I said, you know what, I'm gonna get to another doctor, and tomorrow I'll make an appointment first thing and see if I could. In fact, I got online to do an online visit. I made an appointment that night because I didn't sleep. I think I slept maybe an hour or so, an hour and a half. And then the pain woke me up again. And I told Honey first thing in the morning, I'm just really uncomfortable. Something's going on. And when I sent my I was going to have a televisit with another doctor, and so when I sent her my what happened, my details about the ER and what was going on, she told me, I can't see you on a televisit, you need to go back to the ER because they need to run tests as soon as possible. We need to get to the bottom of this. So I said, okay, fine. So that was my only real choice to do. So I said, you know what, I don't want to bother anybody. Please do homeschooling with the kids. So Honey took the day off, and I said, I'm going to drive myself there. Right. Now, one thing I have to say about the night before that it didn't really hit me that this was kind of a danger sign was I got really confused. And I don't know if that was part of just having a lot of, toxicity in my body or what, but I could not remember phone numbers. I couldn't remember my address. That when, I walked into the men's room, and I saw somebody, and he looked surprised. I said, I'm sorry, I'm confused. I ran out when I was trying to give her all of the information, the person taking my information for the hospital. I couldn't remember my phone number, my husband's phone number, my address. And I thought, what in the world is going on? Eventually I got down to it. But then I told Honey that night, the first ER night, I'll take an Uber home. Don't worry about me. Take the kids home. I don't want them staying up. And then I gave the Uber guy my wrong address. And then when he asked me my correct address, because I had to put it into the Uber app so that I can correct it. Otherwise, that's the way it's done. I couldn't remember, and I actually had to pull my driver's license out so that I could see the address I've lived at for 4 years and didn't know it. And so that should have tipped me off that something was very wrong. But anyway, the next day, so the doctor sent me back to the ER, and I was there for such a long time. Then what happened was the liver levels actually elevated even more, like crazy. So obviously some things were going on, and the pain was back, abdominal pain. And so what ended up happening was, and what happens is, I guess if you have ACL or something, it's a number for your liver enzymes. When it hits a certain rate, it's like when it's higher than 300 or something, it's considered high. But sometimes your liver enzymes do go high for this reason or another. But when they hit 1,000, at that time, it usually triggers you going into the hospital and having an entire gastro team, working on what's going on. And that is exactly what happened. And my levels were not just past 1,000. They were almost at 2,000. And so the doctors were kind of confounded that I was not, that I didn't have jaundice at this point, and that I was talking and able to, do the things that I was able to do, because I shouldn't have been in the shape that I was. But nevertheless, I was in pretty bad shape, I guess. Anyway, so we did do, tons of blood tests, MRI, whatever. And at first they thought, after they admitted me that night, and at first they thought that it was a blocked duct. And so when I put the post on that I was going into emergency surgery, it was because they told me, we're going to have to go in, there's some sort of blockage, and so that's what it is. This is what we're going to do. So I thought, oh great, I'm not going to be able to get to my peeps on my YouTube channel and we're in the challenge for days, so I need to let you guys know what's going on. And so that was the knowledge that I had at that point. But since then, and no, they didn't end up doing surgery because they found out that it was not a blocked duct. Then they found out that there was something going on with the liver. And that was what it was. And so even now, I could say that they're not completely sure what happened. It's just that they thought that maybe I had contracted a type of hepatitis, and that is what, there was an infection, right? And they said, you have some sort of autoimmune compromising, condition, which I have a couple, and that can lead to, an open infection, and that can affect your liver, and that can do this. Or you have been taking, they just didn't believe me. They thought, you have to have been drinking and doing drugs or tons of over-the-counter Tylenols or something to do this to your liver, because you've really messed things up. And I've not touched like a Tylenol in, I want to say, close to a year. All I take is nutritional supplements, and I don't feel like I overdo that. I don't do drugs of any kind. I don't drink, and I don't smoke, and I don't, you know what I mean? There's no explanation for this. And so they were kind of baffled on that, and they started asking me all kinds of weird questions, but anyway, so that wasn't it. So they still don't understand. Right now, they've taken me off of a lot of my supplements. I'm on the bare bones minimum, because they said, it's going to be another 4 to 6 weeks until my levels, they discharged me because they did start coming down and it was looking better. But it's going to take a while for them to return to normal and the liver to heal. And so I will be under the care of a couple of doctors during this time to make sure that, things go okay. But the entire time I was in the hospital, they had me on antibiotic IVs, and some really strong ones, because they wanted to bring that inflammation of the liver down and really, do everything they can. At one point, they sent me down into the ICU the first night, but that was because the antibiotic that was being administered had to be administered by the people who were only qualified to do that, and they were on that floor to do that. And so after I stabilized a bit, then of course they moved me. But so it was just an ordeal. It was crazy. The amount of testing and things that they were just trying to get to the bottom of this. And so we still really don't know what kicked it all off. And there's so much that I learned from this whole thing, and of course I missed my family so much and missed being home. I just wanted to go home, at some point. And I knew I needed to be there, but it was really hard to be away from my life, But the reality is that I was critically close to no longer being here, and I felt fine that day, and then I completely wasn't, So there was just no real, I don't know. There was I want to say no real warning to this, kind of came out of nowhere. I have to tell you, the first MRI showed, now I want to thank everybody too for their prayers before I go on, because there were a ton of prayers from our close friends, close family, and our wonderful viewers who were just praying, and those prayers were going up. And I really do wholeheartedly believe in the power of prayer. I believe in the God of the Bible, the Son Jesus Christ. I believe that he still answers prayers and performs miracles even in this day, because he can do whatever he wants. And I rely on that. So the first MRI, they showed there were two masses of, I had a lot of lesions on my liver, and there was a big one and then there was a smaller one. And the bigger one, they were concerned about and so they thought, well, we did this MRI without contrast, so we're going to need to do it again the next day, which of course I'm dreading getting the bill for all of this. But anyway, so I said, okay, so the next day we did that. And mind you, between all this time, I mean, the prayers are just going up, and the next time we did the MRI with contrast, the big one was gone. It was completely gone. And they were like, there was like so much baffling from the doctors on this whole thing, and they're like, we don't understand what happened. It's just not there. And the smaller one we can see in detail now is benign, so we're not going to worry about that. And, that being said, my levels were still really high, but they said, but they're coming down. They're coming down bit by bit. So a lot of baffling questions on this one, but I'm celebrating answered prayer, and I'm celebrating miracles, and I'm celebrating friendships and everybody that was just so loving and giving, being there. The people who checked on my husband, of course, because he had the total fort he was carrying with the kids, and I'm so grateful for him just taking care of everything here at home. What would I do without him? And the kids all jumped in, and did their part too. So guys, it was just crazy. It was completely crazy. And on the very last day I was in the hospital, I thought, you know what, I need to get my 30 minutes of movement in. And I stood up there holding my IV and my gown, and I'm trying to do some exercises and get them in. And I thought, this is nuts, Kat. I think I ended up doing like 10 minutes and I got all wore out. The first 3 days or so, I was just on nothing but liquid. So I didn't eat any food, and then they got me on soft stuff. But so it was just an ordeal, and I missed you guys terribly. I'm going to be catching up on videos today. I'm celebrating life and being here and all that it entails, and I'm going to get back to work. I don't know what this next month is going to bring. October, what is this? Is this October? November. We're here at November tomorrow. So in come the holidays, and I think what I want to do is just concentrate on sharing holiday recipes with you guys that are going to make things livable and enjoyable, and just enjoy the holidays with you guys. I think that's what I want to do. Anyway, I love you guys so much, and I want you to have a very, very blessed day. Thanks for listening. Let's go onward, right? Onward and upward. All right, I'll see you later. Bye.